USB permissions. The Universal Serial Bus, or USB, is incredibly convenient for connecting everyday devices like keyboards and mice, but it also presents a massive security vulnerability for any computer network. In a corporate or high-security environment, a technician must often dive into the UEFI settings to strictly control exactly what these ports are allowed to do at the hardware level. The threat of mass storage. The absolute most common reason to restrict USB permissions is to prevent data theft or the accidental introduction of malware. If an employee plugs an infected USB flash drive into their work computer, malicious software can silently install itself and spread across the entire company network. Alternatively, a malicious actor could easily copy gigabytes of highly confidential company data, such as customer records or financial documents, onto a tiny thumb drive and walk right out the front door. The UEFI permissions act as the first line of defense against both of these threats. Granular port control. Inside the UEFI interface, usually under a Security or Advanced Peripherals tab, a technician has the power to completely disable all USB ports. However, completely turning them off means the user cannot use a USB keyboard or mouse, which would make a modern computer completely useless. Instead of a total shutdown, modern UEFI systems offer granular control. A technician can leave the USB ports active for basic input devices, but specifically disable the USB mass storage protocol. This brilliant setting allows the keyboard and mouse to function perfectly, but if someone plugs in a flash drive, an external hard drive, or even a smartphone, the motherboard simply refuses to acknowledge the storage memory exists, keeping the company data locked down tightly. Preventing unauthorized booting. Beyond data theft, USB permissions are critical for maintaining the integrity of the installed operating system. As we discussed previously with the boot order, a USB drive can be used to boot an entirely different operating system or run password cracking tools to bypass Windows security. By disabling USB boot capabilities in the firmware, a technician ensures that even if a malicious drive is plugged in and the computer is restarted, the motherboard will completely ignore the USB drive during the startup sequence and boot straight into the secure company operating system. The password requirement. It is vital for a technician to remember that these UEFI restrictions are only effective if the firmware interface itself is locked behind a strong supervisor password. If there is no password protecting the UEFI menu, anyone could simply restart the computer, press the setup key, and turn the USB storage permissions back on themselves, completely bypassing all of your hard work.